you, my friend. I was going to call that book 50 Shades of Graham. Social isolation is not caused by fanatics with guns looking for an infidel. Mostly social isolation is caused by people of goodwill with degrees looking for a problem to solve. Thanks. See ya. We really need to rethink this whole social inclusion thing. I've been led into many quagmires by people of goodwill, and a quagmire doesn't matter whether you're led there by a person of goodwill or an ignorant person or someone with just a different agenda. A quagmire is a quagmire, and we really need to think this thing through. And we need a Copernican shift, a radical Copernican shift. You know, Copernicus made a complete fool of himself when he said that the Earth goes around the sun and not the other way around, because people could see he was wrong. Everybody could see the sun started here and went over there. So you may struggle with just this next few minutes, but it's worth the struggle. There is no such thing as a single human being. There is no such thing. You were born social. Some woman pushed you out in a most intimate way, yelling, hopefully, to some bloke, "This is all your fault." And then hopefully somebody lifted you and put you on the breast of your mother. And for a long time you couldn't tell where you finished and mum began. And then they put you in school and started to teach you that everyone's your competitor. And something like 90% finish that process feeling like they are failures. I had a primary school teacher tell me that more than half her class, primary school, were medicated. Well, how many kids have we got to medicate to make this system work before a bell goes off? You are hardwired as social. The fundamental human unit is at least two. So the word I, the smallest and most misunderstood, misleading word in the English language, the word I could only ever refer to half of something. How we going? It's not our culture, is it? We love the power of one. Almost all of our movies show you an injustice, and then some hero, usually with the help of a gun, if it's an American movie, deals out justice to somebody, and this whole idea of the power of one is reinforced. And it's an illusion. It's an utter illusion. People say to you, you've got to have a dream. I never say to anyone, you've got to have a dream. Where's a dream located? In here. If you say to young people you've got to have a dream, you might as well say you're alone, you're alone, you're alone. I say you have to have a destiny. Salvation comes not through the head but through the feet. If poker machines have got you, it doesn't matter how well you understand the odds. There is no life until your feet take you someplace else. Salvation comes through the feet. We think in our culture that moments of turning, that will move people towards justice, will move them towards peace, will make inroads about poverty and so on. We think that'll all happen when somebody has a moment of insight. And I promise you, no change takes place while you have your head up your bum analysing how you feel about stuff. No change takes place while you say a reflective prayer or sing a song about how you were having some kind of experience. There's a place for a reflective prayer and there's a place for a reflective song. But it always comes after the moment of turning. It never constitutes it. You still with me? I had a lawyer come and see me who arrived at Wayside wearing a suit that's worth more than my car. It's not a big challenge. And he started to tell me how successful he was, and this guy had everything, everything. And for the whole interview, he sobbed. And he kept apologising to me, saying, I haven't cried since I was 8. This guy had succeeded and done marvellous things, but not found another human being since he was 8 years old that he could trust to cry with. That interview started by me saying to him, I have no tricks. I have no special skills. I'm not here to fix you. See, the problem is, because of the culture we live in, because we believe this power of one shit, because we've swallowed it, we keep relating to each other as problems to be solved, not as people to be met. And it doesn't matter if we get talking. In the culture we live in, it's not long before I start thinking out, well, what's up with you? And what might your options be? You're not feeling very well. I know a doctor, da-da-da-da-da. What did the doctor say? Well, my auntie had that disease. Did you try this? Blah, blah, blah. And you become my problem to solve. And it doesn't matter how good my heart is, there's a push away in that because you're my problem. You're not a person for me to meet. And we do that. You don't have to work with homeless people to do that. We do that all the time with one another. We do it socially. We do it with our friends. We do it in our families. We're constantly trying to solve a problem instead of meet a person. I was leaving Wayside one day and a sex worker who I didn't know. Not many clergy claim to know all the sex workers. Unless you go to one of those clergy retreats. That was a joke. It was a joke. She said to me, what have I got to do to get some kind of voluntary role, a gig around here? And I've tried to fob her off because I was busy. I needed to be gone. So I said, oh, look, you have to believe the world could be a better place. And she started to physically jump up and down. That's me, that's me. You have to give me a role. So I put her on our telephones, and she'd had 15 years working in massage parlours. She was good on the phone. I started to get messages where the telephone number related to the person who'd called. Complete break with tradition at the Wayside Chapel. And after some months, she said to me, I've been cutting back on work and I want a different kind of job. Can you help me do that? She said, you have to help me write a CV. That was a challenge. 15 years in the sex industry. I've found customer relations covered a multitude of sins. And she got a job. And a few months later, she got a better job. And the point of me telling you this story is just to say, no one ever said to this person, you need to get your act together. You are on a path to destruction. You need to take a better road. Nobody said that. What happened was she realised there were others with her and for her, and she moved on her own, and that's how it works. Maslow never had a clue. The moment of turning is not a moment of self-actualization or self-anything. It is unconscious by definition. That's why when I've seen people radically turn their lives from a self-destruct toward life, and thank God I've seen it a lot, you go and interview them and say, what was the moment? What made that turn? And they mostly can't tell you. Or they'll tell you something, but next week you ask the same question, they'll give you a different answer. And that's because the moment of turning isn't that moment of self-reflection. It's not one with your head up your bum analysing how you feel about the world. It is a moment of unself-conscious realisation that there's something bigger here and there's people here with me and for me. That's why we know when street people, their lives are on the change when their driving question moves from, what can you give me, to how can I help? That's when you know. Can you imagine a world where the word I was a word of connection, not distinction, not separation, but a word of relation? Every time I said I mean you and me. Can you imagine that? If we could unleash that power of knowing that there is no such thing as a single human being, you would need to organise less because you would watch people move more by their own will. People will move toward life when they see a bigger kind of context and they know you are with them and for them. 2 minutes and 57 seconds, that wasn't bad. I've got room for a 1 minute question. Is anybody going to fire a 1 minute question at me? Seriously? Yo. Fire away. Pizza.
I guess what I sort of also hear quite a lot is when you really start to look at the idea itself, and when you start to connect yourself to the big picture. That's another way that I would summarize all, because that's the way I would see it.
Glad you said that. Beware of any philosophy or religion. No, I don't care either. I'm not very religious. But beware of, there are two great dangers in philosophy and in religion. One is that God disappears up your bum and you get lost, you descend into spirituality where your head is constantly having a little experience. That's not it. But the other danger is where you disappear.
Yes, but something that's the way people can get lost.
Right, okay. Look, I've got a reasonably fast car out here, so I can say what I'm going to say and go. Disconnection cannot be the goal. Connection is the goal. You will only come to life when you find yourself to be necessary, significant, not central.
When you realize you're part of the bigger picture.
Yeah. Necessary, significant, not central. It's true in relationships, it's true in workplaces, it's true in religion, it's true everywhere. Necessary, significant, not central is what happens when you are firing. So the two extremes to avoid is one is I'm nothing and the other is I'm the smartest person in the room. There is no fate worse than being the smartest person in the room. You can't avoid it actually because the graph of normal human life is like this. That's normal, healthy human life. It has to work like that. And the journey from here, intimacy to longing, is a process whereby you become smarter and smarter. Until, here when I've been married to the same girl 45 years. It's incredible. The secret is she doesn't go shopping with me. 4 seconds. But when we are intimate, all the pronouns are we, us, our. And when I lose it and become the smartest person in the room, it's always, why don't you love me? Properly. Me, my idea, my philosophy, my agenda. So that has to happen. I'm done. That has to happen. You have to become the smartest person in the room. So the trick is to be captured again by the awesome. In your workplace, some awesome vision captured you. You will lose it and become the smartest person in your class, smartest person in your company, smartest person in your marriage. But the trick is to be captured again by the awesome. And you'll find yourself necessary, significant, not central. I'm over time. Thanks. See ya.